Well, good morning and greetings from the Desert National Wildlife Refuge. That's where we are this morning. It's a beautiful morning. It's probably only about 85 degrees right now. Okay, maybe in the 90s. And we're probably going to have some triple digit temperatures here. But I thought I'd take a little walk here and show you a little bit of the Desert National Wildlife Refuge. Just take a little walk. They have some great walking paths if you haven't been here before. This is where the Coyote Trail meets the Jackrabbit Trail. So this place is only a few miles from my house. I love coming out here, taking walks. Usually I'm out here with the dogs, but Katrina told me that I walked them too much this morning, so kind of on my own right now. This place has natural springs running around it, so that's why we have all the water over there behind me. This is the Corn Creek Visitor Center. That's what it's known as. So you can see the high grass there. I guess it kind of look like corn stalks. So a lot of history here. I'm told that trains used to stop and fill their boilers with water from the springs. This also used to be a working ranch with orchards and everything. So again, because there used to be plenty of water here. My dogs love walking through this part because there's a little statue over there of a coyote. And my gosh, they run right up to it every time, thinking that's a real coyote. And it's not. Imagine their disappointment. But they go up and try to sniff on it anyway. So, again, gotta love the walking paths around here. And looking forward, you can see it's just a really nice, easy walking path. And you can see the little streams that are running through here. Crystal clear. Basically, this is water that's coming out of the mountains. Nice little bridge so you don't have to jump over the mountains. Tend to get a lot of bird watchers in here. All kinds of birds. A couple Cooper's hawks live in here. Lots of little placards to tell you what you're looking at. And as they like to remind you, there's always more to see. Again, more streams running through here. It's interesting that you have this lush green environment, and yet we're just on the edge of the desert. A big old pomegranate tree here. You see they're starting to come out. But you can also see they'd rather you leave them for the birds, not for humans. But got a couple folks sitting on a bench over here, so I'm just gonna do me. Nice little stream behind us still. Good morning. And so as we keep on walking, start to get a little bit away from the trees and the greenery, and we're going to end up finding ourselves back out in the desert here again real quick. The Corn Creek Station is like a little desert oasis here at the National Desert Wildlife Refuge. The National Desert Wildlife Refuge is the largest refuge in the lower 48 states. I believe it's something like 800,000 acres, something like that. But half of it is restricted for use by the United States Air Force. So they use it for a lot of their missions, for their aircraft. There's a big bombing range out there and stuff like that. So, but as you can see, the scenery behind me, it's changed quite a bit. And yet, looking forward, we're kind of going back into it again. So, yeah. We're also crossing another stream, so of course more water means more greenery. Short of birds and lizards, I've never really seen any wildlife out here, but I've certainly seen the signs. There are wild burros that live out here. Plenty of jackrabbits and cottontail rabbits and coyotes and stuff like that. But again, if you get a chance to come out here, really nice walking trails. Well, something rustling down in there in the leaves. Probably a rabbit. This here is the pump house, which is actually a large aquarium. There's fish in there. So native fish are always under threat, it seems like, here in Nevada. So it's a little refuge for the fish. This is the Pahrump pool fish is in here. And they give them a safe home in there, and it's a little hard to see, but sometimes you can. Oh yeah, ooh, lots of algae. You can see the snails. Doesn't look like we're seeing any fish in there today. Oh yeah, you ain't seeing nothing in there. You see my reflection, but that might be about it. But so, like they gotta clean the windows if they want anybody to see anything that's in there. I've seen the fish. I'm confident they're in there. And coming up around here, we have the famous railroad tie house. Somebody actually built a house out of all the railroad ties that were left. Now the railroad hasn't run through here in many, many years. But like I said, it did. They used to fill their boilers from the water from the springs. So you can see this house made of railroad ties. So, interesting structure. One of the few remaining structures on site. Probably built between 1905 and 1918, according to the placard. Looks like they need to trim things back here a bit. But like a lot of federal agencies, they've had their budgets cut, so they're challenged like a lot of others. But it still looks pretty good. I think it's still very well maintained. Okay, admittedly, it's starting to get pretty warm out here. And I do have a nice picnic area that I'm told has been recently renovated. I'm not sure what recently renovated means, unless it means they cleaned the picnic tables, because it looks the same to me. Okay, so a nice place for a group to have a picnic or maybe a pancake breakfast. Alright, now we can go back to the visitor center this way, or we can go back out to the desert this way. And if we go back out this way, it is somewhat amazing the stark contrast between the riparian or water-oriented environment, so to speak, that we're coming from versus coming back out here to the desert. Because there we are with the Sheep Mountain Range in the distance there. There are bighorn sheep that live up in those mountains. The bighorn do not tend to come down to here, to this level. There have been efforts in the past to capture them and bring them here, but no long-term efforts. For the most part, there's a feeling that the bighorn should be left alone, that they should be left up in the mountains where they enjoy themselves. And you can see, looking behind us, you see that clump of trees. That's where the water was, or is. But not so much out here. An early bird over there. I don't know if he's looking for worms, because I have a tough time getting a worm out of this ground. This ground is hard as a rock. But I've been coming out here for many, many years. I've lived here almost 10 years now. So this is one of my favorite places to come. And it really doesn't matter when the season is. If it's the summertime when we're having triple digits, obviously I'd rather be out here earlier in the day when it's cooler. But we do get some really dramatic, really nice sunsets out here. And we also get some really nice sunrises. So they don't want you here after dark, but they love to have you come out and visit. And quite frankly, there's an awful lot of folks from Las Vegas that don't know this place is here. And it's just right outside Las Vegas. Maybe 30-35 minutes outside Las Vegas. No cost to come in here. Don't need a pass or anything. Very easy to get to. Paved the whole way, no dirt roads to get here. Now, there's hundreds and hundreds of miles of dirt roads out there that you're more than welcome to explore. In fact, there's one particular road, the Mormon Well Road. That's good for a couple hours exploration. That'll take you up and over the Desert Pass, which is about 6,400 feet above sea level. There's a nice campground at the top, which is worth hanging out at. Bring your bug spray. This is a interesting structure coming up here. This is a great place to come and watch the sunrise, or relax as the sun sets, but it's really built more for the sunrise. Again, we got some nice placards that explain what you're looking at. Like everything out here tells a story. Then coming up here on the right, we have a piece of artwork that personally I really appreciate. And I've gotten some pretty good dramatic photos of it, especially with the sun setting behind it, because that is where the sun sets. The sun sets in the west. So it's two Native American basket weavers, two ladies there, wanting to keep that tradition alive. Again, nice placard explaining it. And then we continue. And this loop that I'm doing, it's probably only about 3/4 of a mile. It's really not that long of a walk. I don't recommend it in the summertime in the middle of the day, but it's still kind of early morning. You tell me you must be getting closer to the water because the foliage is getting taller. But you can also tell it's getting warmer because we're not seeing any people anymore. Saw a couple, but that was it. When the weather is nicer, you see a heck of a lot more. This is kind of a nice little thing that explains how the water creeps in from the mountains and into the springs. And then we're back to the spring. And this is kind of a fun little place because there's all these crawfish in here. May not be able to see any today, but trust me, they are definitely down in there. Not exactly sure how they got there, but most people think that they got here in the eggs that were pooped out by birds. Oh my gosh, look at that. That looks like a tarantula hawk. Probably looking for breakfast. Looking for a tarantula. My. Okay. And we're back. We're pretty much coming back to where we started from. And again, if you haven't been out to the Corn Creek Station, Desert National Wildlife Refuge, I highly recommend it. It's just outside Las Vegas. It's kind of between the two roads that go to Mount Charleston, so between Kyle Canyon and Lee Canyon, but it's on the other side of Highway 95. So hopefully you'll be able to make it out here someday, and hopefully we'll see you out on the trail. So as I always say, happy trails. Okay, now we're back inside the Corn Creek Visitor Station, which has air conditioning. Very important in the desert. But again, if you haven't been here before, highly recommend it. No cost to get in. It's your tax dollars at work, really. And so when you come in here, you'll be greeted by one of their volunteers, and they're asking you to please sign in because they want to know that people are actually coming and visiting here. And next to it, there's a lovely little gift shop in here. So make sure you check that out because it helps fund what they're doing out here. So lots of good stuff in there. Also, when you come in, you start walking around, there's all kinds of stuff here to see. Personally, I really like this relief map down here because it kind of gives you a sense of where you are and just how incredibly big the Desert National Wildlife Refuge is, as well as what it takes to get from the Highway 95 to Highway 93, which could be a challenge. They also have a nice little film in here that you're welcome to sit down and watch. So, plus you kind of got to watch your step because you never know what's going to be on the floor there. So there's lots of stuff that's happening beneath your feet out there, and this kind of gives you a sense of what it is and all the other little creatures and stuff that are there. So learn about cryptobiotic soil. Also learn about some of the artifacts that have been found here. Lots of interactive stuff. I like this little part over here because you can see it talks about all the different types of wildlife. So snakes and lizards and rabbits and hawks. This is kind of a fun place because not only do you get to hear different animals, sound like a coyote if you're able to hear that. Oh, okay, it's some type of bird. Let's see if they... That sounds like a quail. But not only do you get to hear things, come over here and it says take a sniff. You can smell things too. So a lot of different senses here that you get to take advantage of. But of course, there's also, out of respect for the Native Americans, or the first peoples, those that were here before, so you get to learn a little bit about their story. And then of course, the settlers who came later, very heavy Mormon influence here in southern Nevada. There's some tough folks there, live in this environment. So this is definitely a place that's worth checking out. Kind of interesting, you see these little stripes on the windows. That's primarily so that birds don't fly into the windows and kill themselves. It happened in the past, that's why they put those little stripes up there. So again, this is your tax dollars at work. If you haven't been to the Desert Wildlife Refuge before, if you haven't been to the Corn Creek Visitor Center, I highly recommend it. This is a really cool place to check out. And again, absolutely free. Great place to take the kids, the family, if you're looking for an escape from Las Vegas. No glitz, no glamour. But it's certainly an interesting place to check out. I highly recommend it. All right, that's it for this weekend. Y'all take care. Happy trails.